Jesus. Interesting things always seem to happen when he was at someone's home or seated at the table with others. And in the gospel today, Jesus is invited to the home of one of the leading Pharisees. And while they're seated at the table, a woman just kind of comes into the home. She positions herself behind Jesus' feet. She washes them with her tears, wipes them with her hair. She kisses his feet and anoints them with this oil that she has brought with her. Can you imagine this happening while you're at the table with some guests? And I'm sure her presence was unwelcomed by the religious leader. After all, she is a prostitute and would never have been invited into a good Jew's home. Yet, she comes in on her own, takes a position of great humility at the feet of Jesus, and welcomes him and cleanses his feet. Her actions are really, and would have been, shocking. Meanwhile, the Pharisee is thinking to himself, if this Jesus were really a prophet, he would know what kind of woman this is who is touching him. The religious leader believed that if Jesus was truly a spiritual man, he wouldn't have let this prostitute even come close to him. Well, Jesus knows his thoughts, and he proposes a story about the power of forgiveness. Basically, he tells Simon, the woman has shown great love to him, and therefore he has forgiven her much. But the man who has Jesus over for dinner did not greet Jesus in any way by washing his feet or by welcoming him with a traditional embrace. And as a result, Jesus judges this man to have little love for him compared to the sinful woman who is showing Jesus great love. Therefore, she has been forgiven, but we presume forgiveness is withheld for Simon. It's easy for us to judge people on the basis of what we think we know about them. We may find some people unworthy of God's love and mercy because we know what they've done or what kind of people they are. We may choose not to socialize or befriend people who have a past history of something. In our church, we continue to debate whether or not someone who does not accept certain teachings of the church should even receive communion. But Jesus sets aside all judgment, and he responds instead to the love that people show. The greater the love a person has for God and neighbor, the greater the forgiveness that is offered. So if we want to judge people on anything, it should be on the basis of their love. But as it is, we cannot judge a person's heart. We do not know what people really believe. And we do not know if they've already repented for any sins they may have committed. So who are we to judge? When asked recently about whether or not some people should receive communion, Pope Francis said that we priests are first pastors, not judges. As pastors, we are to imitate the love and mercy of Christ, who allowed all people into his presence. He is the one who will judge. And in the meantime, we are to accept people, even in their sins, and allow them to come to Christ like the woman in the gospel story. The same is true for each of us who claims to be a follower of Christ. If we held the keys to the home of faith, would we willingly let people in? Or would we lock the door to them if we knew they had done certain things or believed certain things? Are we given the authority to judge people as being worthy or unworthy? So we need to be careful, because the fact is we are all sinners. All of us are in need of forgiveness. And were it not for the love of Christ, all of us will be locked out. The goal, therefore, is to love, and to love greatly. By our love of God, by the love we show our neighbor, we can be cleansed of our sins and find mercy in God's presence. So Jesus invites us to this table today. Let us gratefully come to the table, mindful of our own sins, before we judge others to be unwelcomed.